So I was not planning on doing a video today, but this is one. I just saw a video that I need to make a response to. I want to make something very clear. This video is in no way, shape, or form meant to be an attack on anybody. It does offer some stern but constructive criticism and some things that need to be said. And what I am referring to is the video that just went up that I just watched from Akana, where she talks about how she is essentially severing ties with her nuclear family because of a disagreement that she had with her father about politics, and how she now views her friends, her closer friends, as being her real family. Okay, Anna, I am a huge fan of your channel. I really am. I don't think I've ever really talked about what my favorite YouTube channels are. A lot of them are things you wouldn't expect. Like, go look up Joe Top Hat, for example. I love his commentaries on Peanuts, the Peanuts comic strip. Anyway, but Anna Akana, I have watched so many. I've probably seen every one of your videos at least once, and most of them multiple times. And no, it's not because I have some lecherous fixation on you. In fact, it's because you have really good advice and really good insights into relationships, love, psychology, all of these things. All of these things, you have great insights. I absolutely love. I don't always agree with you on everything, but that's never the case with anybody. But I have gotten so much out of your videos, and what I saw you put up, what I saw in this video was so unbelievably irresponsible that I had irresponsible and just pig-headed that I needed to say something. I needed to comment on it. And to give you some clarification, you have a video, Anna, on I believe it's Times I've Wanted to Die or Times I've Wanted to Commit Suicide. I have watched that video when I was at that point. And the monologue, the quote that you have from your grandmother at the end, I have held on to that at times when I was at an unbelievable low, when suicidal ideation was just conquering my brain, when I felt like the horse in Never Ending Story. And that one, the video you talk about fear of intimacy. When I watched that, that described me, like what the therapist character that you portrayed in that was describing. Everything that sounded like me. When I go on dates, I think of you saying love does not feel like we think it's supposed to. That we're not supposed to buy into the infatuation, that it's about the development over time. I consciously think about that if I'm on a date now, or if I meet somebody that I think has potential. That is good stuff, and it has been so helpful to me. And your stuff is funny too. The line, I saw one of your stand-up things online where you said, I always wanted to be an actress, so my dad enrolled me in karate lessons. Like, that cracked me up. It cracks me up every time I see you have the video where you're talking about how you're learning to not view men as trash, and you have the thing where you stroll by bags of trash with googly eyes on them and say, "Oh, hi, boys." Like, the way you say that, I crack up every time. You do good content. You know you do good content. You're well paid for it, and a lot of people love it. So, when I saw this video, you said, basically, if I understand it correctly, you and your dad are having a spat because of politics. He's hardcore conservative, you're hardcore liberal, and you can't talk right now, and now you want to drag this into the public sphere. Anna, what I saw there was so unbelievably childish and ridiculous, and I'm going to use this word, pathetic, that I had to say something. I had to call it out, because you have such a huge platform, you get so much good information to so many people, that I just needed to respond to this. Look, Anna, I am going to guess that your father, first of all, I like your dad. Your dad's been in multiple videos, and I always like him. He is always cheerful, he's always pleasant, and I know that's probably not always the case when you're with him privately. We all blow up We all lose our tempers, and sometimes we take it out on the people closest to us. That is reality. But I like your dad. You know, your dad, you interviewed your dad when you came out as bi, and he got on camera and said, whatever it is, whatever you need, as long as you're happy, basically. He was totally supportive of you. It was heartwarming to see that. There are a lot of gay, bi, trans kids that do not get that level of support from their parents. And that is something that I've observed firsthand. So so that is huge, and he let you put him in drag to interview him about his political views, and it's funny. A lot of what he was saying I didn't agree with, but I like your dad. Your dad and I could play golf and have a blast. And the thing is, because I get the feeling that obviously there's the parental relationship anyway, but there's an element of maturity that I did not see in your video that I know is in me, and for me to say I'm mature about anything is borderline hysterical, but this is a maturity that I recognize in myself that I did not see in you. And I had to say something about it. Look, Anna, I don't talk about my dad a lot because he doesn't. He does not do social media, wants no public presence whatsoever, and I respect that. But he wouldn't mind me saying he is a hardcore Bernie bro, and I am a Milton Friedman, F.A. Hayek, Ayn Rand, free market capitalist. We have had a lot of arguments, a lot of very, very passionate arguments about the differences in our views. But that should never, ever be the grounds to drive somebody apart, to throw somebody out of your life. And, the thing is, again, I'm sure it's maddening. I'm sure it pissed you off, and I'm sure not getting a call on your birthday hurt you. I'm sure that hurt you. That would hurt me too. But here's the thing that you're not considering, Anna. That's the immaturity. Part of the reason your dad didn't call you on your birthday is because he's hurting too. And the thing is, Anna, I am sure you have had difficulties throughout your life with your dad and all of that. I'm sure that there have been those difficulties. That is a feature, not a bug, of your relationship with your parents, unfortunately. Why did Freud use this as the basis for his understanding of all psychology? Why is that what everybody goes to? We all have issues with our parents. I do, you do, but that doesn't mean you should give up on them. Now, there are circumstances where a person can be so unbelievably abusive and toxic that for your health and well-being, you need to get the hell away from them. If they're sexually abusing you, if they are physically abusing you, if they are emotionally abusing you, and I don't mean emotionally draining you because you have a difference of opinion and you argue a lot. I mean, are they gaslighting you? Are they manipulating you? All that. There are times when a person can be so dangerous that you need to get away from them. But I don't think that's this situation, Anna, because I think if that was the situation, I don't think you'd be so keen to talk about it on camera, get on camera and talk about it. But that's the thing, Anna. I guarantee you that your dad is part of the reason your dad didn't call you is because he's hurting too. And I don't think you perceive what you did, I shouldn't say what you did, but the interaction that you both had. I don't think you see it as reciprocal. That there is emotional. There's emotional reciprocity there. There's respectful reciprocity there. Something you did hurt him. And understand, Anna, and I'm not. You didn't do. This is not unforgivable. This is not wrong. This is just the nature of the game. We hurt each other. Look up what Schopenhauer talks about the porcupine's dilemma. The closer we get to each other, the more we're going to prickle each other. It just happens. So I'm not saying you did something big, major, unforgivable. It's just that it hurts on his end too. And you don't seem to recognize that. What I saw there was something that I saw about a bajillion angry little college girls do in my freshman year of college. And your friends should be there for you and provide you with emotional support. I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that. But you only get two parents in your entire life, and barring like I said, real genuine abuse or some criminality or something like that, where you need to, for your safety and well-being, get away from this person, you're going to have these arguments. You're going to have these spats. And like I said, you give so much good advice, and so many people are listening to what you have to say. People like me who started listening to your content, found out about your content because they were dealing with suicidal ideation and needed something to draw them back from the brink. People like me, what you put out was so deeply irresponsible. Because one of the most important things that we will do in our lives is mend fences with people we've had disagreements with. That is one of the most important, transformative things ever. And what it tells me, the way you acted, tells me that you're not seeing your dad as a full and complete autonomous human being, separate from you. You're still looking at him as the archetype. He's not, I don't recall his name, but he's not that person, just that person to you. You're still looking at it from a daddy-daughter perspective. And you should, the important part of maturity is to look at him is to learn to look at your dad and your mom as human beings, full and complete human beings, separate from you. They have been your age. They have had, when you realize that they have had all the wants, needs, and desires that you've had, that they have been your age, they've been through the emotional processes that you've gone through, that they are just human beings. That is so important. So vitally important. And you should never tell anyone to just throw that out. And so yeah, your video is that video is important to me. That and the other video that I watched that's really given me a lot of comfort in dealing with suicidal ideation is one by Pastor Rick Warren. Now, I know he doesn't have the best track record on LGBT issues, but when you sit there and listen to him talk about his son who committed suicide, you know that video is sincere. You know that message is from the heart. And yeah, he mentions the purpose-driven life in it, but it's already one of the best-selling books in the world. It's not like it's an advertisement for that. But anyway, the point being, it's funny. There is so much controversy around Jordan Peterson, and so many people just hate his guts. But I am somebody that believes that you should listen to what a person has to say and find, every person's views are going to have a certain amount of gold and a certain amount of lead. And you have to decide for yourself which is which. And it would be so great if people could have a nuanced perspective, because one of Jordan Peterson's arguments is perfect for what you're talking about here. And that is the argument that you need to rescue your father from the belly of the whale. Go watch his commentary on Pinocchio and the symbolism in Pinocchio, and that, Anna, is exactly the lesson you need to learn. Because that's the thing. As you grow up into an adult, your parents are going to need your help. They're going to get old. They're going to need your help, and you're going to want a strong relationship. Because I promise you, Anna, even if your parents are not saying it, they are those full and complete human beings that you don't want to acknowledge. And Um, the and that they are scared. They're thinking about getting older and dying and needing help more and more. And that's something that happens to us more. When I turn 30, for example, which is not not significantly old by any stretch, but when I turned 30, that is kind of a milestone. And that was the first time I remember I was driving home and after celebrating, and I thought to myself, there's going to come a point where I'm going to get so old that most of the people on this planet are going to be physically stronger than me. And that's scary to think about. Especially, I'm 6'2". I lift weights and everything, so I'm have a pretty good position in the spectrum of human strength right now. But eventually, there's going to come a time when everyone is I'm weaker than the average human being. That's going to come. I don't have any kids. I don't have anybody that's going to take care of me. That's scary. And I promise you, it's scary for your parents, even with family that's there to help them. So, and I know so many people are going to balk at me mentioning Jordan Peterson, but I'll tell you this. A personal thing that I've alluded to. I have a friend who, had a friend that she and I had a falling out, and unfortunately, the reconciliation is, I've reached out to try to reconcile. She is not interested, so for now, I have to leave it where it is. That's a reconciliation I'm working on in my own life, but the argument that precipitated that began with the fact that I was going to, I have a series here I do on the channel called Book Talk. Me and Stefan, who's my co-host for Book Talk, we were going to do a review of 12 Rules for Life. And my friend was practically begging me not to put that video up because she didn't want anyone to know that she was associated with someone who appreciated Jordan Peterson. That is the level of, it's just madness that we're terrified. I mean, we are absolutely terrified of seeing anything of value getting anything of value from someone we disagree with on major issues. I don't totally agree with Jordan Peterson's views on a lot of things. He's got a few points of view that I completely disagree with. The whole thing about enforced monogamy, I disagree with. Now, I disagree with the point he was actually trying to make, not the sensationalist bullshit that was spouted in the media. But he's got a lot of stuff I disagree with, and a lot of stuff I like. And just like Akana has a lot of stuff I disagree with, and a lot of stuff I like. And that's something that's become very important to me. Rather than sowing division, let's talk about let's talk about where we can find commonalities. That is vital for all of us. And Anna, your father still loves you. Your father is hurting right now too. Whatever happened, whatever transpired between the two of you, did not just hurt you. And that's the maturity thing that you've got to learn. That he's hurting too. If you can realize that, maybe you might realize that, this is not something that you want to be blasting all over YouTube so that people like me can comment on it. No, what you should be looking for is reconciliation with your father. And if he's unwilling to reconcile, go ahead and fall on your own sword. Apologize for anything that you may have done wrong. And if you don't know what you may have done wrong that's made him not want to talk to you, then say that you are open to learning. This is one of the most vital things in the world. And Anna, you and I probably would agree that Donald Trump is a scumbag from what it sounds like in your political views. This is crucial to healing from the era of Trump. So, anyway, I hope I've made some sense. And again, I hope people realize this is not an attack. It's not meant to incite any kind of hatred for anybody or anything. It's just trying to make a very important point, and a point to a YouTuber that I actually really respect. Kind regards.